Governor Dictator King Gavin Newsom, the governor of Corruptifornia, as we like to call it, said, well, we need more money. And he's asking the legislature for money. He's asking the feds for more money. He's asking pretty much anyone who listens for more money, billions of dollars to recoup costs and pay for the extremely bloated Medi-Cal program in California. Now, the headlines that a bunch of conservative media have been talking about is that, well, isn't this interesting? California allows illegal immigrants to be on their Medi-Cal program. And that's true. Of the 15 million people in California that are on the program, 1.6 of them are illegal immigrants. In other words, 10% of the people on the Medi-Cal program are illegals. And while a bunch of the conservative media have been saying that California lets illegals on, that's true, but not the whole truth. The whole truth, as I see it, is, well, California lets literally anyone on. And I mean that not necessarily in a more legalistic term. The law doesn't say, here in California, we let literally everyone on. I mean that more in a practical sense, as in, if the rules aren't enforced, are there any rules? If the law isn't being enforced by anyone, is there, in fact, practically a law there? Well, let me take you through how someone, literally anyone, can get on to the California Medi-Cal program. Well, first of all, California said you have to have an ID, you have to prove that you live in the state in order to be on the Medi-Cal program. And you may be thinking, well, wait, California doesn't have voter ID laws, so that seems like it doesn't mesh together well. Well, don't worry, California thought of that ahead of you. So in fact, you actually don't need any legal identification to prove that you live in the state. And if you don't have any legal identification, there's this form. This is the MC-214 form that if you don't have a driver's license, a passport, a rental agreement, a utility bill, literally any form of identification, you fill out this form and sign it, and that counts. You can be enrolled in Medi-Cal. Now you may be asking, well, isn't it illegal to lie on that form? Yes, it is. Having said that, the Department of Justice in California that handles Medi-Cal fraud has had literally 0 cases of fraud on this form. So either every single person in California is 100% telling the truth all the time, or there's massive rampant fraud in the Medi-Cal system. I say all that to say this. Imagine this, you in practical terms are a parent and you give your child a credit card with unlimited spending and no rules. You get the bill at the end of the month, you go, oh my gosh, we have to put some rules on this thing. That's not how California would deal with it. California would deal with it, if we're looking at it in the same context as the Medi-Cal system, they would go, shoot, the kid's spending is out of control. There's no budget left. We just probably need more money. That's what we need to do to rein this in. It's not we need to cut spending, eliminate fraud. We need to tax the American people, Californians specifically, more, and that's how we'll get ourselves out of this jam. Corruptifornia, where, I don't know, policy and sanity goes to die. Here to comment on that and so much more with us is our fantastic panel. Amber Duke is a senior editor at the Daily Caller, and Braeden Sorbo is a writer, author, comedian. I'm throwing in comedian there because I want you to do stand-up even though you've refused so many times. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jobob.
Hey, Amber, I want to start with you here. You know, given the fact that it seems like California and Illinois are in a race to file bankruptcy, I think one of them is going to do it first. What is the political shift that's going to happen if and when that does happen? Are the American people going to be like, cool with that? Are they going to be cool with it once? Like, what do you think? And this is all on the backs of California needing to borrow billions and billions and billions of more money to fund their bloated programs.
Well, first of all, I have to say, when you kept saying Medi-Cal, I thought you were saying Medi-Cal, and I understand that obese people need more health insurance, but that's a little on the nose. So I'm glad that it's not that. It's actually Medi-Cal. But will there be political ramifications? I mean, the state literally just burned down, and they're requesting billions of federal funding to help recover from the wildfires. And yet somehow the same people keep getting voted back into office. So I don't think there will be any political ramifications in California. Now, if you look at Gavin Newsom trying to launch this podcast as a means to run for president one day, then yes, I do think what's happening in California will be a major shackle around his ankle as he tries to build his national profile. But it seems like these states, the Democrats just are never held accountable.
Yeah, that's a great point. The state is already running into huge money problems with the wildfire insurance program. It's going to be a big mess. Braden, regarding illegals on state-run, taxpayer-funded healthcare, you live in Florida. How many how many illegals are enrolled in the Florida statewide health plan?
I can't give you a specific number, but I can certainly say it's going to be less than California. I mean, frankly, if I tried to fill out that MCZX7 form that you did because my name is Braeden, they would probably immediately mark it, and that would be the first ever case of medical fraud in the state of California.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think you might stand out like a sore thumb.